guys, it's Kimberly Bell. Today we're going to cover CMAs. This is going to be a live class with participating members of our office. So I'm not going to be looking directly at the camera. You just need to be aware that we're going to do some CMA stuff and kind of work through how to do your CMAs. Hopefully you're taking notes. So when you're doing your CMA, you're going to log into Flex. Okay? So make sure that you're logged into Flex. There's multiple ways to do it, as you know. You log into your Flex and then you decide how you're going to begin your search. A lot of times when you do your search, you're not starting in the CMA icon, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to go and you're going to go, okay, log in, and then you're going to do your search. So how do you do your search? Do you use map search?
Sometimes.
Or do you use advanced search?
Advanced.
You use advanced, okay. So you're going to use whichever search. So that's what you're going to write down. You're going to do your search. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to search. Now when I do my search, it needs to be based on a parameter, right? So with that parameter, we need to make sure that, that we know what we're doing, right? You have to know, you have to do your search. You have to know your property details. Okay, so you're going to do your property details. What does your property details look like? Where are you getting that from? You're going to get it from your CRS. So from here, we're going to get our property details from our CRS. We have to have that before we can do our search. Okay, or you're going to get it from the seller, and that would be off of the appraisal. So property details, CRS, appraisal. If you're getting it from CRS, there's a button at the top of your screen and it says tax search. You're going to click that. Once you click tax search, your tax search ability is going to come up. You're going to either search it by name or by street. Make sure that you put the county in the box. No matter what, you have to have the county that it belongs in. It's not going to let you just search without the county. So if you have the wrong county in, you're not going to get your research. So you put your county in, you put your address. And then after you put your address, you're going to click, it'll come up in blue. If it's the correct one, you might have multiple addresses. Click on the right one. And the way that you know that you're clicking on the proper one is that you check it by the owner's name. Address, verified by owner's name. Okay, so now we've done that and we're reviewing the tax record. You may want to PDF it to your computer to where you can kind of set it over here and you can kind of reference it, because once you get rolling, you don't want to have to go back to it. You may want to PDF it and add it to your CMA. We say supply this. Well, you can add it to your CMA as an additional documentation at the end. So don't forget that you can do that. So we've decided, we've looked at that. One of the things that you need to know about square footage is that when you scroll down on that CRS, at the top there's square footage, but then there might be additional square footage down here that is truly finished square footage, but it's not added into that number. So you need to decide, is it a finished basement? How much does that basement count? And how much money you're going to give that? Okay? If it's finished and it's walkout and it has windows, it might be the same value as the regular up square footage, right? Mm-hmm. In the north, they call that a raised ranch. Here in the south, we call it a basement rancher, mm-hmm. right? So it just depends on where you're from as to how that might qualify for, especially if it's a walkout basement, being that raised ranch. So now we verified it by the owner's name, we've set it aside, and now we're gonna go into our search. Okay, so you're gonna do advanced search. I'm a map search girl. Because my map search, you can set it up to where it's advanced on the side and add different criterias to that side. So I've set my map search up to be a more advanced search. Okay, so there's at the top of your screen in Flex, remember up here we had a button that said tax search. My preference setting here allows that I have a button that says map search. So I'm going to click on that same button just like I did up here, but now it says map search. Okay, now it says map search, and I'm going to click on that button and it's going to open up my searching criteria. Okay, if there's something that I want to add to that criteria, the map search down here on the left hand side, it has whether it's square footage or whatever, but if there's something there that maybe you want to add, if you scroll down a little bit, you can hit the plus sign and add to that search criteria. So if it's maybe on yours you don't have a property type as part of that search criteria in your map search, maybe you couldn't access your map search from the tabs at the top. If you can't access your map search from the top, then what you're going to do is you're going to click your home button and it'll drop down and you can search it by map or advanced there. Okay, so
and they can set it up where it is at the top.
Right, and you can set it up. If you're in that home and you say, oh, I really like map search or I really like advanced search, you can put your star beside it and it'll automatically put it there. Okay, so I'm here in my map search though. This is where I'm at. It functions very similar to your advanced search. Okay, so a lot of the same functionality. Down here on the right hand side of your screen, I'm talking as if we're looking at a computer. On the right hand side of your screen, there is a button that is a pin. So we have a pin. You're going to click it, and it looks like a red push pin. And what you're going to do with that red push pin is you're going to put in your address of your subject that you're doing the CMA for. This is going to locate your property on the map, and it's going to put a pin on the map, and it'll give you the opportunity to accept it or decline it. It's going to find it for you, and it's going to say, do you agree that this is the location? And you're going to click accept. So the next thing that you would click would be accept. Okay, little button there. And then it's going to give you some options to do a radius search. So sometimes I've done radius searches and it goes out and I don't like my radius search. I don't like where it's taking me. Sometimes I might do 1 mile out, but it's going across the river, it's going across railroad tracks, it's going across all these locations. I don't want it to go across those. So I might use a shape search instead. So at the very bottom of your page that you're looking at, remember you had clicked accept, and now you're looking at the map. At the very bottom, there's a bunch of different shapes down there. If you take your mouse and you go over the top of them, it'll say, okay, you can search by shape, you can search by radius or whatever. If you do a shape, you can click on it, draw the shape where you want it to be, and use that area. I start with that to know exactly what I have, to know what I'm going to narrow it down by. Okay, so I start with my shape. So I am drawing my shape or using my circle. Okay, so I've done the shape, I've drawn it, I've done my circle. Now I'm looking at what results I have, and I notice, because I didn't do any difference over here in the map search criteria, that they're all active or pending listings? Well, that's because I forgot to come over here and change what my criteria was. So on my criteria, I'm going to come in, I'm going to do active, I'm going to put back how far back in my closed I want to go. Closed is an option, I'm going to do my pendings, I'm going to make sure that I'm checking all of those over here in my search box. I'm going to put my square footage. What sort of square footage do I want to use? Do I want it to have the same bedrooms and bathrooms? That's for you to decide. Sometimes I won't put bedrooms in. I won't put bathrooms in, and then I'll adjust it in my CMA. Okay? You do it solely on square footage, unless I do the square footage, I did all of that, I drew my circle, and I still have 800 results. Then I need to come over here and I either need to shrink my shape or I need to define my criteria. Okay? So those are some pointers about the map. So now I've come up and I have right above on the map search, on all the criteria here, there's a box. It's going to light up in blue. And it's going to tell me how many results I have. Okay? That result right there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on those results, and it's going to give it to us in whatever format you have your MLS set up for. Okay? We're then going to click on the word. Remember, this now comes up. You have all your listings like this, and you have these little boxes over here on the right hand side. You're going to click on the word details. To decide, you're going to now review what you've chosen. You're going to click on those details and decide, oh, I like this one. Okay, so you're going to put a check in this box. You like this one because it's similar. It's the most similar ones that you've chosen. Okay? You're not trying to box it in to where you're targeting a price. You're trying to box it in to where you're going off of the actual comps that the system is giving you based on how similar the property is to a comp. So you're going to click those. We've clicked them. You're probably going to want to at least have 4, and it depends on how the market is being driven as to what type of results you're going to get. With it being a seller's market right now, a lot of my CMAs are very much driven by closed comps. What are yours driven by right now? Have you done a few CMAs? I think that you and I worked on one together, and it was closed comps, and it was very hard to narrow it down because there were so many closed comps. Okay?
Then you really have to look at the details and pick the best comp.
Right.
Because you don't want to give them. I actually do 3 instead of 4. Sometimes I might put 4 in there, but
I do 6, and I do 3 closed and 3 active. But I think that
I'm just talking closed.
Yeah.
I put active in there so they know what they're comparing to.
Mm-hmm. So I think that this is a good starting point for you though. So active is an option, but I know on many of what I'm doing now, it's very difficult for me to even find 3 active comps. So you don't want to only give them only 3 closed comps. If that's the case, try to even that out the best you can and use the best comps that you can. So now we've gathered our ones, right? And we checked them. So now over here at the top, it tells you your results.
I put pending too, Kimberly.
Yes, pending too. Pending too. I check pending as well. And I usually only go back on my closed comps no more than 180 days. If I'm getting a ton of closed, I only go back 120.
It automatically comes up as a year.
It does. It automatically comes up as a year.
But you can adjust that.
And the only reason I'm repeating you is because I'm trying to do 2 videos. one with the instructions and one with a screen view.
Right.
So that's why, just so you know. So on the results, so we have results, and then we have the ones that you've chosen here. Okay. And so these are the ones that you've picked. It's going to tell you how many you've checked, which ones are checked. Then at the top of your screen, now we're back at the top of your screen of your FlexMLS. On the right-hand side, there's a box that says CMA. Okay? And you're going to click CMA. The scary thing about now clicking that button on the upper right-hand corner that says CMA is you get nervous that it's all going to be gone. And then what are you going to do? How are you going to start? Where are you going to go? And because our old system was that way, every time you clicked around, that was it. And the app is very similar to that too. Sometimes you'll get caught into the app, you'll click on something, and then you can't get back to where you were just a minute ago. But the desktop is not that way. So we're going to click CMA in the upper right-hand corner, and it's going to pop up a question for you. What do you want to use? All results or selected? You don't want to use all results because remember we had 800, so we're not going to use all results. So we're going to use selected. You've selected it. You've decided. Come on in. Come on in.
Are you videoing?
You're okay, yeah.
Should come around.
It's okay. So you're gonna now click. You're gonna now go ahead and click that you're gonna use your selected, and you're gonna go into that CMA. The next box that comes up is gonna look like this. Let me draw you a picture. It's gonna look like this. It's gonna say full CMA, quick CMA. There's another CMA that is there. I don't remember what it is. If you're doing something quickly just to find out what the market value is in that area, quick CMA would be a great option for that. I prefer full CMA. I'm a full CMA girl. If you're gonna do it right from the very beginning. We don't want to think about what the market could hold. We want to know exactly what's going on with that house. You viewed the house, you know what that house looks like, you know that these comps are gonna work, okay? So we've done that. We clicked on the little bubble now. We're clicking on the little bubble here that says full CMA. Okay? The next thing that comes up, it talks about who you're doing the CMA for. It's very wizard friendly, meaning that it's using the wizard to guide you through each individual information for you to decide what you want to do. Okay? Now I do know this, that if I change something in this CMA, as my setup, to keep it, to hold it for the next one, I need to make sure that I change it in my settings. We'll go over that in another class, but I just wanted you to know that if you are continually going in and having to change your criteria every single time, then you have a settings issue, and we need to go over setting issues with what that is. Okay? So you put in who it's for, the address. It's going to show you a map. You're going to, again, just like you did back here at map search, where we did the pin, same thing here in CMA, you're going to confirm that that's the location on the map. Right? Now we've clicked the map, we've said, yep, that's it. Then it's going to take you into the criteria of the house. And that's where you can put in some options. So you have boxes that look like this. I'm going to draw up here now. They have boxes that look like this. So two columns of boxes that go down the left-hand side. A plus. It goes like that, and it tells you maybe it's bedrooms. And down here at the bottom of the boxes, it says add, I think it says field. It says add something there. So if these criterias of your subject do not match what you want, then you would click this add field button to add it. Now here's an important concept that you need to think about. It wants to know if you want to add the field for information purposes. That's what these little boxes are. It wants to know if you want to add it to actually compare it to your chosen comparables. If you want to use it as a comparable that can be adjusted, you need to check it to make sure that it's using it as a comparable. Check that box that says, use this as part of my criteria of comparing it, not just using it as informational purpose. Okay, so we're here, we've looked at all of this, we've added our information, then there's a bunch of empty boxes at the bottom, or there's things that, and maybe I don't want to, maybe it's a city house that has no acreage. But yet acreage appears as one of my things, and I'm not able to put acreage in because it's a lot. Maybe I want to convert that lot size into acreage and compare it. You have to decide, you have to make a decision as to what you're doing. Choose a way that you're going to do it, make it happen. I don't want to use acreage. So at the back of this line over here on this side, right here, there's a little trash can. And I'm going to click that trash can and I'm going to delete that field so that I don't use it as a comparable. Okay, deleted that field. Then at the bottom, there's a button that says continue. Now I'm going to continue on to the next page. It's going to take me to the next page and it's going to ask me now about how I'm going to compare it. Now, there's lots of ways to do this. What? Adjustments. Thank you. Adjustments. How am I going to adjust each and every one of these? So I'm going to give you 2 ways to do it. I hope that you will choose the best way to do it. So you can do the best way for you. So you can do individual adjustments. You can go into each comp. The comps are listed there. You can click on them and you can individually adjust them. Okay? You click on them, it comes up, it has the bedrooms, the bathrooms, all the things that you're willing to compare. It has other as an option, and you can add numbers, plus and minus numbers to that to adjust it. So if the subject had hardwood floors and my first comp I look at doesn't have any hardwood floors and it's all carpet, you know that that hardwood floor is worth more money, right? I'm not saying that you're a flooring person, I'm saying be logical, let's do our job. So I'm going to click that other box, I'm going to type in flooring, and I'm going to do, hey, you know, the hardwood floor over here was worth more, I'm going to add an adjustment to that to raise up that price to adjust it.
Where do we come up with those numbers for the adjustments?
Yeah. What?
Where do we come up with the numbers to adjust? Like if there's
there's some data online that has adjustments for you that you could get from there's a HUD guideline that does some guidelines, so you could search there. Some of it just comes with time in the business and knowing what your adjustments are. I know that sometimes on my REOs I'm gonna give a much less adjustment, okay, for something than if over here, right, that is something like for square footage on an REO is going to be $30 per square foot versus market value of a remodel at 110, right? So you just kind of know that. You just got to kind of start knowing. Whatever you're using, you need to be consistent all the way through. Okay, so if you're adjusting hardwood floor to carpet here, and you're adjusting hardwood floor to carpet here, you have to think about your adjustments. And know that what you did here per square foot is the same thing that you have to do here. Okay. Unless it's not the same. If it's a different grade, if it's done differently, then you have to adjust for that, whatever it is that you're adjusting. Okay, so we're in there, we're making our adjustments. This is the page you do that on. This is page 2 of that. So there's another way to do it right there on that page, and it's called auto adjustments. Auto adjustments means that it adjusts across the board. So about, if you're looking at your CMA there on that page, you're going to come down to about, it's about the top 1/3 comes down. So it goes like this, and then about right here in the middle, there's a button that says auto adjustments. Please do not click auto adjustment until you've reviewed your adjustments. Okay, for example, an auto adjustment could be per square foot adjustment. You know that you're going to give each one the same adjustment on square footage. That could be an auto adjustment. You could do that auto adjustment and still do custom adjustments. You could do both. So the custom adjustments that we just talked about the flooring, but you could also do some custom some standard adjustments there at that button. So you're going to edit. So there's 2 buttons there. There's 2 buttons. And it says auto adjust. And then there's a button that says edit. I think it says edit adjustments. I was actually going to open it up to look at it before I got to this point. So you're going to click on that edit adjustments, and it might be empty. So that's okay. It's because you've never done adjustments before. So it'll say add. Once you click edit adjustment, you can click add, and a box will pop up and it'll tell you some various choices that you have. Maybe you have a standard adjustment for a full bath versus having half baths. Or maybe you have a standard adjustment for a bathroom to a bathroom. If you feel like your comps are truly similar in how they've been redone, then a standard adjustment for a bathroom could probably be doable. And you would have to make that decision based off of your adjustments that you've listed and how you're doing that. So I'm adding my bathroom here. So I've come over here and I've done the bathroom. And then it's going to ask, how much for that bathroom are you going to give on an auto adjustment? You can't add it without a number. Okay? So for this example, that full bathroom, I'm giving a $5,000 adjustment. Okay?
Is that something you would use normally, or is that just an
It's
example?
based on how it's redone. I do mine based on how it's been redone.
Okay.
If it's a standard regular bathroom with vinyl and it's just a bathroom, and all of the bathrooms are like that, all of them, I looked at them, I looked at the photos, and that seemed to be okay, I might use $5,000.
Okay.
But if it's a $400,000 home and it's all tile, and I'm comparing tile to tile, then it might be different.
Okay.
Might be more. Larger adjustment based on that. So I've added that. We've done the bathrooms. Maybe because we're editing adjustments and we have nothing, I would add square footage. I tend to, if I'm going to auto adjust and I feel like I'm in a good spot with my comps, that my comps are really similar, then I might add every aspect of what my subject, what I was going to compare on my subject list. Remember back over here we said, okay, the subject list says it's 2,500 square feet, it's a 3-bedroom, it's a 2-bath, it sits on 1/3 of an acre, it was built in 1970. I might actually add all of those here and do an adjustment for every single one of them. So if it was built in 1970, and then this one over here was built in 1970, when I click that auto adjust, it's going to not adjust anything. It's just going to adjust 0 for that particular adjustment. We'll only adjust when there's a difference based on what you're telling it to do. Okay, so I've added these. So now that add box that popped up is gone. So now you're like, okay, now what do I do? I would then click that auto adjustment box. Be careful. You click that auto adjust box and you feel like it did nothing, and then you click it again, and now it's done it twice. And that is how our CMA in our system works. So now you have to clear. There is a button. After you do that, there's a button that appears and it says clear all adjustments. Let me tell you something. Now all that work you did on the individual adjustments is now going to go away. Don't make that mistake. It's one of the things that I do not like about our CMA. Because if you click and you click and you click, it's going to give you all those adjustments duplicated over and over and over again. Didn't know if you know that, but just a fair warning. I know you don't. So Sheila's advice is just do not auto adjust. Just make sure you do your adjustments on a case by case study. Okay? But that is your decision on how you guys do it. Okay? So at that point you're here. Now it comes up. All your adjustments are now there and you see it on your page. You see, here it is. It's very difficult to read at that point. So I go ahead, instead of trying to read into it and see what it did, I go down to the bottom and I click next. So that's where I'm at. I click next. I go to the next page. Then it comes up and it's like full sentences, full lines, and I'm able to see what it adjusted. I'm able to see it on a property by property basis. Okay? There's no information on that next page to be put in. If you don't like what you see, you can hit the back button and go back to the prior page and work on that page again. That particular page where the adjustments are made is the most important page in all of this whole, everything we're doing. So you gotta get that part right for everything from this point forward to appear the way you want it to appear. Okay? So now we're there. We've clicked that page. I've looked at the adjustments and I said, oh, okay. Wow, it dropped that one to 101 from 180. Oh, wait. I've got a problem. So I go back to the prior page and I look at those adjustments again for that particular property. Once you're in the property, so the property list is up here. Once you're in the property, and if you click on that, you can delete those adjustments for that property only without deleting all of them. If you go into that particular property, you open it up, you see the adjustments, you can delete them. There's a little trash can off to the right hand side. Once you delete it, it's gone. Okay? It doesn't come back. You can't hit Control Z and think it's going to reappear. It doesn't work that way. So if you delete it, it's gone and you have to do it again, whatever it looks like. But you can also hit the add button there and add an adjustment to that spot. Then of course, if you've done that, you've gone back, you've made that adjustment at the top, and now we're hitting that next button again and we're looking on the next page. Fantastic. There was an error when I had put it in. I looked. There was an error when I put in the acreage, and it said I had 40,000 acres instead of 0.4. So that was the adjustment mistake, right? That's how it brought it over. Our MLS is not perfect. And that information that we're pulling from there, we're pulling it from input of other people. So if you're not checking those to make sure that they're right, you could end up with an $80,000 adjustment based on whatever they're adjusting, right? Whatever they're putting in. Make sure their information's right. I mean, I'm not saying go back out and recheck it all, but 40,000 versus 0.4 is huge. So you're gonna go back over here, you're looking at it, okay, okay. Now there's only a $5,000 difference. So we can go ahead and we're like, okay, that looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. So we click next. It's going to give you some mapping and some photos of the property, making sure that you're okay with the information that the other agent from the MLS supplied into the MLS. You're going to click next again, and it's going to give you your recommendation for pricing. There's two different ways. So it has the pricing, it has the high, the low, and the recommended price pops up on your screen. All of it can be changed. Okay? But if you're changing it there, you need to know why you're changing it there. We don't want to just give somebody a number based on what your gut feeling is and not going back over here to your CMA and making the proper adjustments in the CMA. Maybe you know. Yep.
One reason to change that is because that system averages.
Yes.
And if you know that a property is just perfect to compare, then you can look at that adjustment on that particular property and go in guidelines with that
Correct.
one property over the other ones that you have chosen.
Right. So it averages. You can also do 10% of the average up and above. You can do an average on whole. There's boxes directly beneath that you can check. But still, I don't think it's a perfect system, just like what you were saying. So you want to, and especially if you use, maybe you use 900 as your ending. Lots of agents in the MLS use 900 as their ending, right? Maybe you use a different number, and that's okay. Well, you want that number to reflect on there too. If it's your marketing number, the last portion of that 1,000, then you want your marketing number to be on there. So I had one that came up to like 136,498. Well, I don't want to list it at 136,498. Who wants to list a house at 136,498? I want to list it at 136,425. We are creatures of habit, or maybe I don't want to list it at 136. Maybe I want to list it at 134,900. You know, you also want to think about what's sold and what the comparables are. How are we going to speak to those buyers? Of course, in the seller's market right now, I mean, it's the seller's advantage, but you also, I firmly believe in coming down a little bit below that average. We want 0 days on market, 1 day on market, multiple offers. We want what's in the best interest of the seller. I'm not saying go 20,000, 30,000 below list or below what the recommendation is, okay? Unless it's at your seller's instruction. And remember, in the end, it's at the seller's instruction what that number is going to be, not yours, not your CMA. We do everything at the seller's instruction. So now I've done that, I hit next down at the bottom, and it brings me to a place that I can add PDFs. I can PDF it. I can choose what I want it, what and how I want this to appear. Do I want a print of every single MLS brief with this? I do not do that, but other agents do. They want an MLS brief with every single listing, okay? Because I don't think it gives them any more information than my column, my picture of the house that we've created in the column in the MLS. I don't think it gives them any more information than that. Okay, so I go ahead and I say no to the MLS briefs. Do you, don't do me. So I do that, and then I take it out, and I go as far as it asks if you want the graphs of the market. I do the graphs for the market, so I check that. I go ahead, remember we downloaded that CRS information from the very beginning, and it's sitting here on my laptop. I go ahead and I upload that in there now. Okay, so I've done that. And then right there where I've uploaded that, I am going to say, okay, I accept this. I'm gonna PDF it, and I'm gonna do whatever, however I feel is best for my client. Am I gonna email it? There's a place there where you can create a cover. Maybe you want to take your marketing plan and upload your marketing plan in there. There it is. Put your marketing plan in there. Maybe you all want it in one place. Remember, we had our marketing plan from before, right? And we have our business module that was put out, and you have some tips for sellers that were put out. Maybe you're going to email this to them. Maybe this is some tech-savvy millennium, and they don't want paper at all, but they want to hear your marketing plan. So I'm going to put all that there for my little millennium friend. I'm going to put it all there. Because why? Because I know I already have it prepared. I've already done I personalized all of that material for me. It's sitting right over here in Drive, and it's 2 clicks away. Choop. There it is. Now it's all put together in one spot. Okay? Or maybe when I end up back at the office, I don't want to end up, because I did this at home, I don't want to have to go and find those because it's on my home computer, even though it should be on Drive. Maybe it's on my home computer, and now I'm at the office and I'm using an office computer. And oh, help me, because now I don't have that material. Well, if you put it there, right there in your CMA, then when you're here at the office and you've saved it and you log into your Flex, you're able to print it right there along with everything else. If that's what you're choosing to do. Maybe you're emailing it. You can email it straight from that page. Here's the cool thing about that. You email it straight from that page. It also tells you when they opened it, how many times they opened it, and if they forward it to anybody. So there's a backlog of that shows you the history, just like a portal. Okay, so if you go into your home page, just so you know, go into your home page and you click on home and that box comes up where you can star your favorites and all of that. There's a box that says emails sent. If you send this by email, you can open that and it'll tell you all the information about that email. So that's kind of a cool little thing that we do have. So now I've finished, I've done that, I've sent it on, I've printed it. I'm gonna tell you what I do. I take a lot back out of my CMA. My CMAs are only about 10 pages. They're not 30 something pages like it allows it to be. I think my client gets lost, so I pick and choose based on the client what it is that I feel like is gonna be most pertinent to them. Because I've talked to them, I've asked them questions, and I wanna focus on hitting what is most important to them. Okay? So I've done that now. So I'm gonna end the video, and then we're gonna kind of have some open dialogue and some discussion about that. See y'all later.